All right, so we are watching the Rational National. This is a host that is progressive. And so this whole channel, they have a lot of progressive discussions, news, both in Canada and the United States. I'm subscribed to him. I really like this channel. I've been watching it for at least 2 years, maybe three at this point. And I just thought this clip would be interesting. It's only a few minutes, and it's basically talking about a flashback to the beginning of COVID and the response of the media. All right, so we're going to just go ahead and watch that.
The coronavirus, too. There's still that kind of unknown and fallout where people are worried about it turning into something more than it will be.
So I came across this clip from the Recounts Twitter account, which is a supercut of the media exactly 2 years ago this week, discussing the coronavirus for the first time. Check this out.
So they're calling this the coronavirus. Should we be concerned that it could spread to the U.S.?
Yes,
Not a big concern at this point.
The coronavirus, too. There's still that kind of unknown and fallout where people are worried about it turning into something more than it will be.
Are hospital staff and other patients at risk of exposure?
Not for this particular case. Hospitals in the U.S. have gotten much, much better about being prepared for novel infections.
The fact is, it's not spreading in this country.
Well, no, I just gave you.
And so they might be better as far as treating infections, but they weren't prepared for the number of patients, I don't think.
Right? Well, it's not. What are there, 5 cases?
Well, no, but do you want it to not?
That's good advice, by the way, regardless.
This guy's
Well,
like a
yes,
jerk.
sir.
I wonder if they're
Don't
actually
touch your
friends.
face.
Well, I mean, but that's. I mean,
They do not believe that there is an immediate risk to the broader American public. They don't make recommendations that people here wear face masks.
The risk for the general communities in the United States from this infection is very low.
Well, that's amazing. How naive we were.
Really?
This reminds me a bit of the old clips of the media back in like the mid-early 90s talking about the internet, the new fad, the World Wide Web. This is before we realized, of course, what the internet would become and take over our lives, much like this coronavirus. So it is just weird to go back and see the kind of reporting. Now, look, I don't think this is really, some people may take this as an indictment of the media. No one really knew
it is. Yeah.
at that point in early January that it would become, that COVID-19 would become what it is today. I mean, the worst you could say is maybe CNBC didn't want to, in particular CNBC, didn't want to, disrupt the market, so they downplayed the virus. But ultimately, mid-January, not many people really knew what was going to happen. I mean, I was thinking back to that time.
I agree. Mid-January, I don't think, it was something people were talking about at work. My main concern, and was more the end of January, I worked in a call center, and it's just one big building. And so, every time you have the common cold, you could have the flu, you could have pneumonia, or whatever anybody brought in, somewhere between 50 to 75% of the whole entire call center would then have that disease. And so having asthma and having allergies, I was not wanting another disease that was kind of being thought of as a really bad cold or a type of flu, I think, at that time. So I had like a mild concern, but I didn't have a fear of it. I didn't think we were all going to die. I mean, for me, I think it was by the time we got to mid-February, starting to look at management where I was working and thinking, do you guys have a plan? We're all sitting here, just person after person after person. That's the way a call center is. What is the plan? And people started saying, okay, what is the plan? And then, of course, before the end of March, we were all working from home. So let's just continue here.
I went to a Tim and Eric comedy show in February, in like mid-February, and that was a month after this. So even then, COVID-19 at that time was not really a thing that was taken seriously. It wasn't really until
especially not by young
March
people.
that I think it really hit for most people. And I mean, you can go back, watch my live show. There's a live show I have where it's me basically realizing, I think this is like early March, mid-March, me realizing that this is legit, that we are in a pandemic. This is serious, and we got to deal with this.
Yeah.
So it's wild to see how naive we were at the time, but I don't know. I'm not sure if there honestly, I'm not sure if there are any lessons here. I just found it amusing to watch that clip of how the media was reacting to this virus
Exactly.
long before we realized that it would take over the entire world.
Exactly. So that was an interesting clip. Now his other videos, they go more in depth with politics and things like that. I don't know how much I want to get into politics and stuff on my own channel, but I do think that that was an interesting clip, just talking about how things were back in January of 2020, and nobody really did know what was going on. There was a lot of confusion. And unfortunately, because we didn't have a quicker response where everybody was coming together and kind of being cohesive with the message that they were giving out to everyone, that caused a lot of problems as well. So I think that we're still, feeling the effects of, as far as the way people look at wearing masks or getting the vaccines or anything else, and not really, some people not trusting the message that they're receiving. There was also, some silliness in the beginning. Like I live in New Jersey, and they put a rule that we had to all be in, we couldn't be outside any businesses or anything like that after 8 o'clock at night. And I work until 10 o'clock at night. And so my employer had to start allowing me to go home early. So I had time to get the ride done and be home and in my house, before 8 o'clock at night. Like as if before 8 o'clock you couldn't catch a disease, and after 8 o'clock you could. And that was some of the silliness, and a large part of the reason why we have people that are questioning the information that they've been receiving. So, but it is an interesting. I think I was taken a lot more seriously by mid-February, end of February. I was starting to get some concern, especially since I have an older mother, that this would have hit really hard if she had, caught the disease. And I was very concerned about that. And we were starting to get some statistics about older people, were dying from it and what have you. So, but it is an interesting, video. But if you're interested in the Rational National, it's a very good channel on YouTube, especially if you like progressive ideas. And again, he talks about not only the United States, but also Canada and, different issues. He's very interesting to listen to. So it's something worth looking at. And again, it's called the Rational National. All right. And I will see you later.